a while ago, and by a while ago I mean years ago, I reacted to a YouTube video by a content creator, and I kid you, this is not word for word what the content creator's name is. I can't say the YouTuber's channel, and no, YouTube has not taken any effort to take this channel down. The channel is called The Offensive T-Slur. It's just the T-Slur. So, The Offensive T-Slur is a channel that I responded to a long while back. The guy who runs it is a trans guy who is very much a massive true scum, a huge pick-me. Like, I remember reacting to this guy's video and being impressed that a trans person could be so stupid about anything, like, having to do with trans issues. Like, you would think that, like, there's a certain, like, bottom... Like, even Blair White, right? Like, even Blair White didn't stoop as low as this dumb motherfucker did in their video. You would think that, like, being trans would cause you to have, like, a baseline, sort of somewhat fundamental understanding of, like, trans stuff. But apparently not in the case of this guy, because even... This guy doesn't even seem like he knows enough about trans anything to argue against the validity of trans people and to even, like, make a coherent anti-trans argument.
Would you f a trans girl? As a guy that became a girl, or a girl that became a guy?
Guy that became a girl. Attractive woman. You hit it off. I'm trans. You went on, like, one date, and then on the second date, she's like, I still have my penis.
Probably not. Like, just because, like, you're into her the first date doesn't mean, like, because she brings up new information, like, someone's like, oh, like...
Oh, wait, hold on. I forgot. Okay. So, for those that don't know, most of this guy's content is focused around, specifically targeting, particular TikTok users and, like, bullying them. Meanwhile, his banner says, Marcus Dibb, mental health first. And meanwhile, his, like, entire content model is going out and bullying random kids on TikTok.
I'm not into that.
That's a good point. It is new information. And that new information can either be a deal breaker or not a problem at all. It all depends on what you're specifically into. So, yeah.
You date a trans person?
Okay.
Would I date a trans? No.
Does he know who Sneeko is? That's the cuck there. That's the king of the cucks right there, Sneeko, who has gone out saying that he considers trans people to be degenerate, and he's also friends with Aiden Ross, who just did the kill them thing. For his pronouns are kill/them. This fucking guy. We're really citing Sneeko in this video, the cuck king?
I'm sorry. Why not? You haven't tried it? I never tried it, and I'm not trying to try. Nah, I love straight guys. Yeah.
Technically, they're straight guys. They're just transition straight guys.
Nah, it's not the same.
How do you know if you haven't tried it?
I don't want to try it, no.
Wait, Sneeko actually making a good argument here.
That's such a good point. Yes, I don't want to try it. Let's normalize.
Wait, how did Sneeko actually make the decent argument here? How do we have 3 people interacting? And Sneeko came out with the most reasonable, like, take. And in all seriousness, like, obviously, you don't need to feel pressured to try anything. I'm joking around here. Sneeko's just being a fucking troll. Obviously, the whole, like, model that Sneeko and his ilk kind of, like, popularized. Actually, they didn't start it or popularize it. It existed a lot, like, for a long while before this. But they kind of brought it back. There used to be this type of content that was really popular on YouTube called kissing pranks, where you would go out in public and you would, like, go up to a random girl. You'd be holding a mic. Clearly, like, the YouTuber goes up to a random girl, clearly was paid and is a paid actor, and be like, yo, I'm gonna flip a coin, and if I land on heads, I get to kiss you. And she's like, okay. And then they flip the coin, and it lands on, like, tails or heads or whatever I said, and then they make out. on video for like 10 seconds straight. And it's always at the beach, so the girls are always in bikinis. So it's like very clearly like, it's very clearly like horny dude, like teenage boy bait on YouTube and whatnot. But that like type of content was super duper 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 popular, really popular. And it was a bunch of like commentary YouTubers that came along and started dunking on it that caused that trend to completely collapse. H3H3 dunked on a bunch of those videos, I remember. Obviously iDubbbz did, but like Leafy did. Everybody, like every commentary type YouTuber was dunking on that content, and it caused that entire genre to fall apart. But what arose from the ashes of that genre are people like Sneeko, who go out onto the street with a microphone, and their whole thing, I'm going to mute the Minecraft audio because it's a little loud. Their whole thing was to basically take a mic, find random people on the street, interview them in order to get, like, usually with a lot of leading questions, like what's happening here, and to basically get them to say something that they agree with, or in some cases disagree with, but is explained in a way very, like, incompetently, so that when they upload the video, either it's a video of a random person they interviewed on the street agreeing with them, which makes their ideas look popular, and a lot of these people just want to be on the popular team, or on the other hand, it's somebody who doesn't agree with them but does a bad job of representing the ideas they disagree with, which is, of course, just, you know, to laugh at for their content. It's a very, like, it's literally just the direct, like, descendant of the kissing prank content, where it's just, like, finding a bunch of random women on the street, either paying them to say something dumb into a mic, or just, like, keep on interviewing random women until you find one that can't answer a simple question, and then be like, whoa, look how stupid women are. I don't know if you guys have seen this content. I know it's a little bit off topic, but it's like really popular on the YouTube Shorts algorithm, and Sneeko does a lot of like content with that, where it'll be like a couple of girls walking on a boardwalk, and some guy with a microphone walks up to them and asks them, when was America founded? And they can't answer it. Or they'll be like, how many states are there in America? And it's like really simple questions, and it'll be like a couple of hot girls that can't answer the question, and the whole point of the video will be like, look how dumb these bitches are. And then they'll finish it up with like asking them if they think women should be allowed to vote, and then they'll be like, yeah, of course. And it cuts to just the, like, it'll be Sneeko or something laughing hysterically at these women saying women should be able to vote. I don't know. I felt like ranting about this type of content that like Sneeko and his ilk do, because it's really frustrating. As like a progressive, just watches this shit, just the most like bottom of the barrel content is being eaten up and believed as like valid political, you know, propaganda.
Normalize people saying that. I mean, this is not the same as when you're a kid and you didn't like cheese and your parents were like, well, you haven't tried it, so how do you know if...
Also, like, whenever the right makes these videos about how like people are so for one, the video that he's featuring right now isn't a trans person or like a trans activist or whatever asking people if they're into trans people and then asking them, and then like when they say no, getting mad at them. This is Sneeko, a right-wing transphobic figure making anti-trans content. This interview, like, the only reason this person's being asked or having to wonder about dating a trans person is because a right-winger has come along to question them.
If you haven't tried it, I mean, this is about sexual orientation. You cannot help what you like or what you don't like, and you don't need to try things out just to make sure. Pros of dating a trans girl: can't get pregnant, knows how to please you, been through a lot, so I'm understanding. No bloody periods. Ultra feminine because I have to work for it. Oh no. 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 I see what you're trying to do here, but can you...
What? I mean, the TikTok itself is cringy, but it isn't like demanding that people date trans people. It's saying like benefits of dating a trans woman, and then it's just arguments that they're making as to why. It's a meme TikTok. I swear to God, the existence of TikTok has been an objective, like, ill on humanity. Not just because TikTok's, like, a festering pit of cringe, but because, like, within the festering pit of cringe are people who are just irony posting and being funny. but because everybody like thinks that everything posted on TikTok is sincere cringe, they think that like there's not even a hint of irony or humor intended with this post. Like it must be a completely like unambiguously sincere, not self-aware, ultra cringy video. That's the only option. That's the only possibility.
Do you promote yourself without pushing all women down? It's a little bit misogynistic to claim that women do not know how to please men or understand men. And the thing about being feminine, if you think that you become more of a woman because you had to work for it, you're only...
Well, it's... The thing says ultra feminine because we had to work for it. So, yeah, I mean, if you were to date a trans woman who's ultra feminine because they fall into those categories so society will recognize them as feminine and as a woman, then, yeah, if you're into ultra feminine women, then, yeah, I guess a super high effort passing trans woman would be what you're looking for. So, I don't see what the issue is here.
Proving
it's just a TikTok?
That you're not a woman. I'm sorry, but you brought it up. If you're proving woman because you claim that women do not know how to please men or understand men. And the thing about being feminine, if you think that you become more of a woman because you had to work for it, you're only proving that you're not a woman.
No. I think what it says is that trans people have to work really hard to be recognized as the gender they identify with by society. So, generally speaking, they tend to overrepresent or overpresent feminine features when it comes to trans women and masculine features when it comes to trans men. Not this guy exactly, but you know, a lot of the times trans people will will hyper max out those features because they want to be as like unambiguously the identity they identify with as possible. I don't see what the issue is there.
I'm sorry, but you brought it up. If you'll...
What? I like how he like went through 4 layers of like misinterpreting a joke TikTok to find an excuse to call a trans woman a man. Not just a trans woman either, by the way, but like this trans woman, like he had to like find a way to have an excuse to call this trans woman a man. Fucking wild, dude. True Scum channels are crazy.
Sorry, but you brought it up.
If you'll fuck a trans woman and she ticks all of the boxes that you require out of a partner, but you still won't date her, that's transphobic.
Wait. If you'll fuck a trans woman and she ticks all the boxes that you look for in dating someone, but you won't date them, you'll only fuck them, then yeah, that does sound a little trans. It sounds like you're like a weird fetishy chaser type. Like, yeah, I mean, it's not like transphobic in the same way that going out and assaulting a trans person on the street is transphobic, but it's definitely a little weird, a little fetishy.
I can get on board with people having preferences. I can even kind of get on board with people having genital preferences, although I think that's fucking stupid. But if you're refusing to date a trans woman...
I bet this guy grew up in a really conservative environment and thinks the only way to get acceptance is to find some wild middle ground. Weird middle ground. Feels bad, man. Nah, I think this guy's just a cunt. I covered his content for a while. Like a while back, not for a while, and like he used to be a lot more vitriolic and cruel in his videos, like a lot more like he'd actively try to point out flaws that he sees in trans people's appearance, like no matter what he was responding to about them. Just like he'd start every response with like a rundown of insults on the trans person he was responding to and stuff. That was pretty common. I think he's just kind of a cunt. Hey, on the bright side though, we brought up Sneeko earlier because Sneeko was featured here. You know how Sneeko has that cringy fake eyebrow scar? This guy has a real one. He actually has a real eyebrow scar. I can see the lightness, that it's actual scar tissue. This is what Sneeko's trying to emulate.
Because you're afraid, not because you're not attracted to her, not because you don't enjoy who she is as a person, then I strongly encourage you to investigate how systemic transphobia...
Yeah, gender affirming scar.
Has influenced your dating preferences. Like, just do it.
Or people like you can respect that no means no. I don't care if a person...
What? Okay. I'm sorry. Has this guy heard about the incel community? Because nothing about this TikTok screams this is a person who doesn't understand no means no. This just sounds like somebody posting their opinion about chasers on TikTok. Does this guy know about, like, the incel community? Because, bro, if you want to see people that can't take no for an answer when it comes to sexual consent, oh, brother, I've got an entire community to introduce you to. An entire massive community of people. You know, he didn't seem to recognize Sneeko. Maybe he doesn't even know about the incel community.
Person is sexually attracted to a trans woman. If he doesn't want to date her, that's his choice. He has every right not to date a trans woman.
Well, the person who made this TikTok just set up a scenario in which the only reason the person doesn't want to date the trans person is because of the fact they're trans. They find the trans person sexually attractive. They'll have sex with them. They tick every box that they want in a partner. The only reason they won't date them is because they're trans. This person just posted their opinion saying that's transphobic. That's all they did. I like how in this video that's supposed to be about, like, about whether or not, like, you're a bigot if you don't fuck trans people, I guess, then, like, none of these videos are claiming anyone's a bigot for not fucking trans people. I don't get it. Where's the accusations of me being a bigot?
You do not have to justify why you don't want to date a certain person.
Well,
It's
they
not
don't,
only
but-
creepy, but it's extremely...
Well, you don't have to justify why you don't want to date a certain person, obviously, but you also are allowed to have opinions on people's dating preferences online. Like, if you think someone's dating preferences are cringe, then, or you want to have, like, a hypothetical scenario to give your opinion on, then you're allowed to do that online as well. That's not forcing anyone to do anything.
narcissistic to refuse to understand why people don't
Oh shit, the Blair White argument. Trans people are so narcissistic for wanting people to be attracted to them.
want to sleep with you. But being narcissistic and creepy are common themes within the woke community, so it shouldn't
Ah, damn, he uses woke now instead of trans activist.
be that shocking. Moving on.
Dating a trans woman makes a man gay. I mean, that makes total sense, right? Your girlfriend was a child at one point, and now you're a pedophile.
Wow, it's unbelievable how far these allies would go to defend trans people.
I think she just made a joke. Like, these people literally think that, like, people on TikTok can't make jokes. Like, it's all self-aware or unself-aware, like, cringe lords being entirely sincere. The joke here is that if you think it's gay to date someone who, like, for a guy to date a woman who used to be a man, then you would think someone's a pedo for dating a woman who used to be a little girl. That's the joke. It's a joke.
It's incredibly disgusting that we're now shaming men for not wanting to have sex with other biological men.
Listen, man, I know you really want to call, like, do you think you're a woman? Do you think that you're a woman? Like, I feel like, is he like one of those super self-hating true scums, or is he like a super narcissistic one himself, where he thinks that, like, he's the only valid trans guy among, like, a very small select group of actually valid trans guys, and all the rest are trans trenders or whatever? Dude, I want to debate this guy so badly, but after I debated Calvin Gara, I know exactly how this would go. It'd go the same as the Calvin Gara debate. It would just be, like, identity politics the entire time. He would just keep on saying over and over again, how can you, as a cis man, tell me as a trans man what is really what is and isn't transphobic? Who? I'm so glad that I said Calvin Gara's name and people in chat didn't even know what I was talking about. That's so good. Basically, Calvin Gara did what this guy did before this guy came along. Anyway. Like, it would just go the same way if I had a conversation with this guy. He would just he would just say that I'm a cis man, and so how can I have any opinion on this that is more valid than his? He would just pull some identity politics shit. He's trans? This guy's channel is literally... This is the guy's channel name. I feel like we made it pretty clear this is a trans man at the start of the video.
What's wrong with our society? You cannot compare the two. It's a horrible comparison because your age changes every year. Your biological sex will never change.
Well, I'm pretty sure there are probably some DIDs, differences in differences in sexual development, DSDs. Sorry, I always mix it up, DID and DSD. There's probably some DSDs that probably allow your like biological sex to change, quote unquote, over time. That sounds like something that could possibly exist. You guys have no fucking idea how like overwhelmingly complicated human biological sex is. If you want to look into it, you can look up differences in sexual development. And you can probably find like pretty easily some pretty good data on this, because conservatives desperately want you to believe that sex is a binary and there are only two options, but there are just not. Differences in sexual development. Might as well bring this up because it's pretty, relevant. This is from the NHS, by the way. Differences in sex development, or DSD, is a group of rare conditions involving genes, hormones, and reproductive organs, including genitals. It means a person's sex development is different to most other people's. Sometimes the term disorders of sex development is used, as is variations in sex characteristics, VSC, or diverse sex development. Some people prefer to use the term intersex. Why does DSD happen? Types of DSDs. Usual female pattern genes with genitals that look different to girls' genitals. So there are like females born with penises and testes. That's like a thing. There are men with penises and testes born with uteruses. Then, of course, we have... All right, this part's going to be kind of boring and dry, but I'll read it. Some people have XY male chromosomes, but their external genitals may develop in the usual way for girls or boys. Sometimes it's difficult at first to know whether their genitals are more similar to girls or boys. A person may have a womb and may also have testicles inside their body. Sometimes the testicles might not work properly, sometimes they may. They may also be external. Doctors refer to this condition as 64-XYDSD. There are literally fucking, like, spaceship model sounding ass medical scientific designations for these like variances in the way that humans sexually develop. I'm sorry, but it is not this simple binary that people so badly want to hang on to. The science has moved past you. Science, believe it or not, goes further than your first grade school class. There's more science than what you learned in first grade, believe it or not. Like, there is more science than the shit you learned in elementary school. I know the Republicans want to shut down any science teaching beyond elementary school because, the dumber the population, the more Republican voters. But, this is just facts, and no amount of whining and complaining about trans people changes them. So, tough.
Therefore, delete your video. I'm just kidding. It could be great, though. Something I've seen a lot in the QIA plus community is how they're shaming lesbians for being...
So something this guy does is he considers the LGBT community to be valid. Like, as long as they're trans people, he considers valid. But it's the QIA plus community that's the problem. I wonder how this guy feels about LGB drop the T. The hate group that wants to try to get, like, gay and lesbian and bi people to be transphobic. It's literally a fucking hate group. The LGB Alliance one.
Being sometimes attracted to trans men. Let's talk about it.
Hi, I'm Jake Gyllenhaal, and I'm
I like how it's like different tiers. It's literally different tiers of pick me, right? It's insane. Okay, so here we've got lip syncing. This is literally... This one here is being lip synced.
Talk about it.
Hi, I'm Jake Gyllenhaal, and I'm hosting SNL this week with Camila Cabello.
No, Gyllenhaal. Your name is pronounced Gyllenhaal.
I guarantee you it is not.
First of all, trans...
Wait, what is... Okay, I don't understand the meme here. This one's cringy. If you're a lesbian and... If you're a lesbian, you can't date trans men. They're men. Well, that's pretty stupid. Okay. I fucking despise the people on Twitter who, like, it's always the lesbian community, too, that does this shit. It's always the fucking lesbian community on Twitter that loses their mind over any group of people that, like, might be attracted to a group that they consider to be not women identifying as lesbian. If you go on Twitter and you tweet, "Bi lesbians are valid," you will have so many TERFs, SWERFs, and lesbian flag accounts flooding your bio or flooding your replies, calling you a piece of shit for supporting bi lesbians. And every single argument they make for why bi lesbians are invalid is the same arguments TERFs make for why trans women are predators and invalid as well. It's the same arguments. Like, dude, the fucking Twitter lesbians are massive fucking bigots when it comes to the intercommunity acceptance. They'll turn into fucking Hitler if you try to include a group they don't like into the label of lesbian.
Cabello.
Gyllenhaal.
Bi-lesbian. Like bisexual lesbian. Basically, bi-lesbian means like you're bisexual, but you have a heavy preference for women. So like you may be bisexual, but essentially vast majority of the time your attraction and your dating life it applies to women. And they lose their mind over that because the idea of someone identifying as a lesbian and also being with men is disgusting to a lot of lesbians. Like, a lot of bisexual women will be ostracized from lesbian spaces and communities because their engagement with men is seen as, like, a tarnishing or disgusting thing. You'll especially see this in real-life older areas, apparently. Like, if you're a bisexual woman, you want to go to a lesbian bar, you're probably not going to want to make it known that you're bi or pan. Just... The roll with the presumption that you're a lesbian. That's generally what my understanding of these kind of things tends to be. That's real. It is. Silence monosexual.
First of all, trans men are trans men, and the reason why some lesbians are attracted to some trans men is because the trans men are biological women. I will
basically my argument for why I think this TikTok is stupid is that I think it's cringe that there's so many people out there that feel like they have the authority to determine what somebody's, like, sexuality label ought to be. Like, no, you're not a real lesbian because you've had sex with a man. It's like, shut the fuck up, bitch. Shut your fucking mouth. Who the fuck cares? Let people identify how they want to fucking identify. Shut up. Shut up, please. I fucking hate these Twitter accounts. I hate them. I hate them so much. It is so fucking frustrating to... I'm ranting. It is so fucking frustrating to watch as there is an overwhelming multi-billion-dollar funded, like, push for a genocide against, like, particularly trans people, but LGBT people as a broad, like, group are pretty heavily targeted, as we speak. And literally, you've got these, like, Twitter accounts run by... I don't even know. I can't even imagine the people behind these Twitter accounts who spend all day name-searching terms that include name-searching the word lesbian. They are women on Twitter who spend all day name-searching the term lesbian and searching by latest to find usually a trans person saying that they are a lesbian, in which case they'll harass the shit out of them because a lot of these people are TERFs. And then on top of that, like, if it's like someone saying they're a bi-lesbian or they support bi-lesbian, if I tweeted right now, I support bi-lesbians, tabbed out, finished this segment, by the end of the segment, there would be several replies saying, "Zan, no, please, Zan, what the fuck? Zan, no!" Like, there would unironically be fans of mine that follow me on Twitter angrily replying if I tweeted that. And you want to know how I know? I've done it before 3 times, and every time I got hate comments from my followers demanding that I retract my statement in support of bi-lesbians. Trust me, like, I just know, okay? I know.
Sound like women. But no matter what the case might be, I think it's stupid to tell lesbians what to do and what not to do. And speaking of who lesbians should or should not be attracted to, let's talk about the new definition of the word lesbian. Because I do not agree with it at all.
Currently on TikTok, the definition of lesbian is a woman or non-binary person who is exclusively attracted to women and non-binary people. The word woman in this definition is inclusive of cis women and trans women. The word non-binary people in this definition is inclusive of trans masculine people, trans feminine people, gender fluid people. It's also inclusive of non-binary AMAB people, not just non-binary AFAB people. For those of you who don't know, AFAB stands for assigned female at birth. AMAB stands for assigned male at birth.
So in other words, anyone can be a woman, unless...
Well, if they identify as a woman, yes. That's kind of how it works. Like, assuming that a homeboy here considers himself a man, at what point did he become a man? Like, I'm curious to have this conversation with true scums that have, like, a weird, bizarre standard for what makes a valid trans person and an invalid trans person. Like, at what point does a trans person become valid? If it's not when they identify as the gender that is different from that which they identified when they were assigned at birth, then at what point is it? Is it when they start taking hormones? Is it when they get a certain amount of surgeries? Is it when the hormones have taken a certain amount of effect? They affect everybody differently, so you can't really, like, measure like, there's not a consistent measurement to go by. The truth is here that there is no non-arbitrary point to start considering a trans person valid at, other than once they're trans. Like, the second they identify as a gender different from which they assigned at birth, which is what makes you a trans person, their identity is valid. Any other bizarre standard outside of that is basically opening yourself up to, well, it's pretty much just trying to open up an opportunity to be able to judge whether or not specific trans people you don't like should be considered valid in your view. Because you want the ability to decide, I don't like this trans person, so I get the right to do one of the most cruel things I can do to this trans person, which is to misgender them and to argue fervently that their identity is invalid. And of course, if you can argue that they aren't even, really trans in the first place, then you're arguing that their identity isn't valid isn't an insulting or rude thing or a bigoted thing that you're doing. It's more of just, you're being a hard ass. You're giving them some tough love. And that's why these people, just bet so hard on this idea of, like, a certain unidentified standard for when a trans person becomes a good trans, I guess.
Lesbians should be attracted to everyone. The only problem I have is how we're erasing the term lesbian, erasing the term woman, by broadening the definition so much it means nothing anymore. A lesbian is a woman attracted to other women, and a woman is a biological female. Period. It's a gray...
Well, the definition of biological female isn't even something that I think this guy could define. Like, I don't know if this guy could actually give a scientific or medically, like, whole-encompassing definition of like what a woman is, what a female is. Because even, like, for one, humans don't know what a woman is. Woman is a word that we made up to describe a certain group of people that we, like, saw existing in society. We were like, huh, whole lot of babies tend to be born a certain, like, way, and a whole lot of other babies tend to be born a certain other way. We should probably come up with words to describe these, like, these two fundamental groups that most of our babies are being born into. Maybe we should probably think up a word for, like, what we call those two groups. Granted, those observations that were made around very early human history, when our most early conceptions of what gender and sex are would have, been conceptualized, weren't very thorough. I have a feeling that when we came up with the concepts of pronouns and like sex or gender identity as, like, labels and acknowledgments we use as a, like, human society, I imagine that we didn't know what I know we didn't know what hormones were. I know we didn't know what chromosomes were. I know we probably didn't know really all that much about the inner workings of the human body, considering I know, like, as early as the 18 and 1700s, women having periods is something that, like, shit tons of societies have had. Like, our society has had weird, bizarre explanations for why periods happen as recently as, like, 50 years ago, like scientifically inaccurate explanations for why that happens as recently as then. We are constantly discovering new things about human biology and human psychology. And one of the biggest aspects of that has been the discovery of DSDs, differences in sexual development. Now, if you talk to somebody who doesn't act in good faith or actually care about the truth, there's a good chance their response to you bringing up the existence of intersex people or people with differences in sexual development as a foil to the supposed existence of a sexual binary will usually say, oh, but those are mistakes, those are errors, those are freaks of nature if they're really feeling insane. They'll go really mask off. And it's like, well, you only consider them that because they're uncommon developments, and you just consider them to be weird and like unusual, but they exist. So, like, you can say it's a mistake all you want, but they exist. So you can't keep on claiming it's a binary while exceptions outside of the binary exist, and then just keep on screaming those humans' existence is a mistake, so they don't count when they're brought up. Conservatives love doing that when you bring up intersex people, because they don't like the whole sex and gender being a binary thing getting shattered by facts and evidence. They get really mad.
Area when it comes to real and passing transsexual people and then sexuality, because I'm technically a heterosexual because I, as a biological woman, am attracted to biological men. But
no, you're gay. And I'm pretty sure the guys you're hooking up with are also gay. I'm pretty certain there are no dudes looking to get with a girl hooking up with you, my guy. You're a guy who likes to be with guys. That's gay. I'm gonna go full playground, courtyard, insult bully here and right now. I'm gonna call you fucking gay, because you're pretty gay right now. You just gay posted.
But first of all, no straight guy is attracted to me, for obvious reasons. Straight men are not attracted to a deep voice, a beard, a flat operated...
It's 'cause you're a guy. I'm a straight dude. I'm looking at you right now, and you're a guy. I don't know what else to fucking tell you. I assume that you would be happy to hear this, but apparently you're so steeped in, like, transphobia that you have to keep on reassuring yourself that you're not valid in order to keep your eyeballs from falling out of your head, I guess. But, like, dude, I'm looking at you right now, cis straight guy. You just look like a cis guy. If I saw you walking down the street, if you walked up to me and asked me for directions, I'd assume you were a cis guy. Like, are you trying to humble brag right now? Is that what this is? Are you, like, fishing for people in the comments to be like, no, you're not a biological female. You pass so well. You're so masculine. Is that what you're looking for? Is this, like, some bizarre, like, attempt at making yourself seem pitiable so people, like, comment? Or do you have a humiliation kink? Is it, like, a misgendering kink? I genuinely don't know what could lead any, like, sane, steady-minded human to this position.
Chest, but generally are not attracted to someone who looks like a young guy. Yes, I have a vagina that they are attracted to, but they would never sleep with me just because of that.
Well, yes, because it's a man pussy. You're a guy. You're a man. Straight guys don't want to fuck men. Like, gay guys probably want to get with you. If guys are getting with you, it's gay guys. Because you're a guy. What?
That's why I like to divide my sexual orientation just like I divide my gender situation. I'm a biological woman, and I live my life as a man. I'm a biological heterosexual, but I live...
I'm not interested in, like, bringing this person on to debate them about why their identity is valid. Like, I don't want to debate this person about, like... I don't want to have to debate essentially a point that defends their existence against them. Like, I want to debate this person so bad because I know it would be a layup, like, easy win, but, like, it would also be really depressing, and I would have to spend some amount of time arguing with someone why they have a right to exist and why their identity is valid, as they try their best to argue against that point. Like, it would be so bizarre.
I live my life as a gay man. I do this for a very specific reason. I want to stick to facts.
Dude, this guy probably has more testosterone in his blood than most cis guys. He's on T. Most cis guys do not have as much testosterone in them probably as a lot of trans dudes do. Like, this guy probably has more testosterone in his body than the average cis man. especially on a worldwide scale, probably. Like, it's so bizarre. Like, by any metric, this dude's a man. Like, I guarantee you, they have phalloplasty surgeries, by the way, that exist. But, like, let's say we had, like, let's say that we could literally grow cocks and balls in a lab, fully functional dicks and testes in a lab, and you could just give it to someone. Like, you could just surgically put it onto a trans dude. They now have a fully functioning cock and balls. They can bust fat baby gravy nuts to get girls pregnant if they want to have a baby. They've got a nice, aesthetically pleasing phallus for themselves. They're nice and happy. This guy would still find an excuse to argue how the trans man with the functioning cock and balls is still a biological woman. I guarantee you this guy would find some way to argue that.
What's real and what's not. But I also want this whole thing to make sense in the real world. In every single social situation.
Even if you could change chromosomes, the vast majority of transphobes do not hold transphobic views because they actually believe or know anything that, like, backs up those ideas. Their beliefs are based in fear. From that based in fear and ignorance position, they go out looking for validation for it. And that's where they find the overwhelmingly, extremely well-funded, huge conservative media sphere online.
Situation. And socially, I do consider myself gay. Funny enough, a lot of...
Well, I would say, definitionally, you should consider yourself gay, my friend.
Gay men are interested in me. And trans men like me. Pre-op, still has a vagina, but looks completely like a young guy. And that's great. I don't feel the need to call them bisexual because they would never date regular women who look like women. Unlike other trans people, I don't feel the need to create a lot of new terms just because gray area.
Wait. What? I'm pretty sure the person you're arguing against has a more simple explanation of this than you do. You think you're a biological woman who is a biological woman, but somehow gay dudes are attracted to you, but that doesn't make them not gay for being attracted to a biological woman because you are masculine enough presenting that effectively you are socially gay, which means that they are not socially straight, I guess? Like, you've made it more complicated than this TikToker did. I understood everything this TikToker said, and they said like 50 words that aren't in the Bible. You made it complicated.
Yes, exist. But thank you all for watching this video. If you want to see more content like this...
No, I do not want to see more content like this. Well, dude, I don't know, like, what is to be done about the absolute, just depressing state of the True Scum community online. Imagine building your entire career and you're, like, whether or not your bills get paid next month are based on whether or not you can do a good enough job, like, putting yourself down to an audience of transphobes. Whew, it's a tough scene.